voice. But I'm one of your hosts, Eric,
I'm Kyle.
And
and
I'm Pops.
today we got a pretty special guest. This is my father. He goes by Pops. How you doing, Pops?
Pretty good, dandy.
Heck
Dandy.
yeah. Heck yeah.
What's going on your side of the world?
Well, not much. Got a little snow this morning. Had a big blow. The storm, came through, and power didn't go out. They've been burying a lot of power lines around here, so that's been helping a lot. But other than that, just enjoying the springtime weather.
It's springtime weather, snows.
Oh yeah, a little spring snow.
when does the snow tend to stop die down for you out there?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, we just got a little fluke storm come through.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they were expecting some tornadoes, but luckily we didn't get any here. We're centrally located, the exact geographical center of the state, and the airflow kind of goes around our township, so we don't get too bad of weather. We get the weather, but it's not too bad.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I just had heard about a bunch of storms that were going through somewhere,
Yeah,
hurricanes and whatnot. And I think they were even saying a tropical storm or like that level of a storm from the die down was maybe going to be hitting parts of like northern Texas or something. But I haven't heard anything since.
yeah, they're getting a
All
pretty
right.
good blow up there, a lot of dust.
Before we get too
Oh yeah, we
involved
gotta do
here,
our shot.
should we kick our cast off?
Yeah, we're totally negating our signature shot start off.
That's what I'm here for.
Foods.
I'm here for the drinks.
That's always good.
I've seen a couple shanks out of you, Pops.
Hey.
Once again, I've got that cough syrup tasting blackberry crown, but this time we got a shot glass that I brought back with me. I went to visit Poland during part of my time overseas. Got to see Warsaw and Auschwitz and all that. Very heavy vibes at those places for sure. But a really cool shot glass.
Dude, Auschwitz is insane.
Yeah, Auschwitz is. There's just a whole different energy to that place. It's weird.
Was it like Auschwitz 2? Is that what they call it? Like the real bad one?
Birkenau. That'd be Auschwitz,
sure.
Birkenau.
I think it's Auschwitz 2 or Birkenau, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that they started it in this almost like a small town, and then they built one. It was the
Right.
second part. They built it up, and I mean it was just like 1,000 acres of facilities just dedicated for the shit they were doing.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Surrounded by woods.
They even they built it. They built it so the rail they had a rail track coming straight into the camp and everything.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing. Is just they'd send them by the train load.
Industrialized slaughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they were saying they would get somewhere like 15 trains full of people a day.
That's insane.
Man's inhumanity to man.
That's so bad.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
I got a pretty damn empty shot glass. There's nothing on this. It's just glass. But it's full of that Jack Daniels.
Ah. Well, I'm drinking a drink of my forefathers. A little Beauregard, James Beauregard Bean. So my daddy drank. That's what I'm going to drink. I got a clear glass, and the key is the chaser. I'm doing a little San Pellegrino Limonata. That's for my chaser.
I've got me a little hot toddy over here trying to
is that just
soothe the voice.
Is that just
Sweet.
Is that just carbonated Italian water that like a lemon farted in?
Basically.
Okay.
Lemon Jolly Rancher dropped in some sparkling water.
I'm in touch with my French side.
Accidentally
Not even it didn't even
Italian
stay in
side.
there. They just dipped the Jolly Rancher in there.
Right. Yeah. Or that's when they make fun of LaCroix. LaCroix. It's like LaCroix is like if your carbonated water was
All right,
good ones.
gentlemen.
All right, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Down the hatch. I got a weird chaser. I'm chasing it with a protein shake.
Ah, there you go.
That is strange. That is indeed
Beamer Screamer.
It's chocolatey. Whoa! Hold on. That was a flavor.
And of course, if I need a refill.
I was like exhaling berry and chocolate at the same time. It tasted like I was exhaling like chocolate covered blueberry or like raspberry or something, but like with like a hint of alcohol too. It was really fucking awkward. That was weird.
I would have guessed it was spicy based off of your reaction there.
No, it was like I don't know if you've ever had like the Ghirardelli like raspberry filled chocolate squares or whatever. Like it kind of tasted like that, but then with like a weird alcohol bite.
I've never had that. I've had those Brookside, Nisreen likes those Brookside.
Yeah, I mean it would be kind of
little chocolate things.
Yeah, the little
the old pomegranate.
Yeah,
those are good frozen.
Pomegranate.
Yeah.
Yeah, frozen pomegranates.
Brookside chocolates.
I like freezing my grapes. These are not frozen, but I've got the rest of them freezing.
You can freeze them, drop them in your wine glass.
I don't even do that. I mean, that's a great idea, but I just eat them. There's like little slushies.
Yeah.
It's like a little
green or red.
If I can find them, I go for the cotton candy ones. Those are super good. These
All
are
right. That was good.
These are like candy snaps or something. I think they're called. I can't remember exactly, but there's some sweet red-ish.
I know green and purple. Is it?
Yeah. Well, they're probably more red, I guess, than anything. I think that's what they call them. Is like green grapes, red grapes, and then these are black grapes too, though.
Well, let me ask you this: when somebody says, "Is that purple flavored?" What do you think?
Grape, right?
Grape.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody asked you if is that red flavored, are you thinking grape?
No, I'm probably like, yeah, probably
Fruit
fruit
punch?
punch.
Strawberry, cherry.
I would go to probably fruit punch first. Personally, I'd be like,
Yeah, I think most red drinks are, and it's just a mix of berry. Like, what is fruit punch? Is that just a mix of fruit?
that's a great question. I don't know
If it actually had fruit in it,
right? Like, what actually makes something fruit punch? Like before they had
I've never tried one, but I bet you there's a homemade fruit punch recipe out there that kicks.
It's
I
exactly
like the Hawaiian type fruit with the pineapples and the papayas and the kiwis. I like that kind of fruit punch.
Huh. Oh, wow.
Delicious.
In the United States, federal regulations provide the word punch to describe commercial beverage products that do not contain fruit or fruit juice. It's used to label artificially flavored beverages with or without natural flavorings, which do not contain fruit juice or concentrate in significant proportions. Thus, a product labeled as fruit punch may contain no fruit ingredients at all.
Yeah, most of the times you look at the back, it's like contains 1% juice or something.
Yeah, which is crazy, but I
That's
I didn't know.
That'll change.
Apparently, it was introduced from the Indian subcontinent to England by employees of the East India Company in the late 17th century. So I guess it started out there. Oh, it comes from Hindi, from the word panch, meaning 5, as the drink was frequently made with 5 ingredients: alcohol, sugar, juice from either a lime or a lemon, water, and spices.
Dude, that kind of reminds me of like where IPA came from.
You know, so I need to look this up again because I swear that I had always thought that it was like they added more hops, blah blah blah, so it would last the trip. And then I swear I read something not too long ago that like that's actually just a thing that people started saying, but isn't true.
I thought it
No,
had to do with
so
the caramel.
no, the actual story of why they called it that is kind of jacked up. So they were making in England, they were making regular pale ales a lot,
Hmm.
and the ones that came out too hoppy, they didn't care for it, and they would export them to India. Yeah,
Oh,
straight up. So
huh.
they called it India Pale Ale.
That actually
Yeah, makes sense.
makes sense. Huh. I'm actually
I'm
trying
not
to.
a really big lager drinker, a beer drinker myself. I like the whiskeys and the wine's okay too. I like the rums.
It's really hard not to drink wine. You know, having spent so much time in Italy drinking good wines, and now I'm 20 minutes from Napa.
That's hilarious. That's how it started. That's crazy.
It's so different here, though. Like when you live in Italy, like you're used to going to the store and you see something that's from Italy, you might be paying $15 for a bottle. But when you live over there, I mean, you can go to some of these vineyards and get a bottle for like €2.
Oh, dude, I would get five. I would pay like €8. Oh wait, it was all right. It was €10, and €2 you would get back if you brought them back their big ass glass jug. But I ended up keeping one
Yeah.
of them. But
Yeah, like the
but
table
basically
wine,
but
Demi
it was for
John.
five. It was for 5 fucking liters, dude. It was like this freaking big. See,
Yeah.
I'm
A
spending
big
like
ten
growler.
bucks.
I'm spending less than $10 US to get 5 liters of quality Italian wine without a bunch of bullshit in it
But
either.
here's the difference of what I'm saying. So like now I live here really close to the Napa vineyards, and I can go straight to one of those places and I'm still spending $15-20 a bottle. And that's the low
Right.
end.
Right, you're not getting a discount for being at the source.
No.
If anything,
A
you'd
lot
be
of
paying
these
for being at the source for the
a lot of
experience.
these a lot of these vineyards are, man, there's freaking bottles out there 200.
But see, here's the problem, and herein lies the rub. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily the case or whatever, but that could easily have to do with just like trade regulation kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like whatever, I don't know, taxes or tariffs or whatever crap may or may not exist. That would just be my thought as to maybe the why. Like, oh, we can't sell it for
Dude,
X amount over there. So
you gotta look this place up. You gotta look this place up and share it.
the vineyard near you.
This was the coolest place. Yeah, it's called um Castelli di Amorosa. I took
Della Rosa,
Nisreen there for her birthday. Castelli di Amorosa.
Amorosa.
This dude back in the early 1900s bought all this land,
Oh, I
and
see
then
it.
he was like really Renaissance. So he had a castle built on the property,
Ooh,
and he wanted it exactly like castles back in France were.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so dude, this thing has an armory in the basement, or in the, yeah, basement, I guess. There's a torture chamber, and there's like two real props in there. There's like the Iron Maiden's real, and like something else is real. There's a bunch of iron suits, and then you're seeing like in the dungeon where all those barrels are is where the wine sits in the oak, and the oak is
Wow.
also blended. It's like French oak and American oak blended to make the barrel.
Huh.
They spend like tons of money to import the French oak.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but like that's what he wanted, so they do it.
I
Money
mean,
talks.
must be nice to have that kind of money. I want it this way. Okay, sir.
Yeah, that
That's crazy.
kind of yeah. So the what do you I mean what do you call it? Like the basement, like the
A wine cellar.
yeah that shit goes halfway into like the side of a like it's like a cave.
Oh, was it like built into the side of a hill or something?
Yeah. So the way they're explaining it, they have a natural temperature control in there. Like even in the summer and in the winter,
Mm-hmm.
it never leaves like 68 degrees or something.
Yep. That's
He's
there's a lot
like
of places
he's
that
like
do
a lot
something
of
like
these
that.
other places, a lot of these other places have to like purchase like temperature control stuff. He's like this one is just natural, it never leaves this
Mm-hmm.
temperature all year.
And it
That's
probably
like
helps the flavor too. Keeps the flavor stabilized.
they
Yeah, they gave us they had one of those barrels that they had like a little spigot in or whatever. They gave us some of the stuff that hadn't quite aged yet, and they're like, "This is gonna be bitter." And me and Nisreen were looking at each other like, "You don't know some of the table wines we drink."
mm,
But it was a Cabernet, and it wasn't quite aged yet, and I was impressed at how good it was.
huh. Yeah, I know that the cellar thing.
Like it was really nice.
What's interesting because like they found that with I think it was in like Turkey or something. Some guy was like expanding his house or whatever and like knocked down some wall in his basement. And they basically ended up finding like this whole underground city, but it's like multi levels. Like there's like levels up and down, and like the lower levels they would use for like food store and things like that because it would constantly stay at like a low like 60 something or high 50 something or whatever. But it was like it was their way to escape like extreme heat from the weather up above and like escape the elements and whatever else. And then also like it was good for food store and whatnot just because of the natural insulation of being underground, I guess.
Yeah, there's several industrial warehouses underground that use that just for that reason to
Yeah, I
control
mean,
temperature.
it makes sense. It's kind of interesting how that works. I guess it's because like I mean it's essentially sandwiched between a massive heat source and then whatever weather is happening on the other side. Because
Yeah,
it's just core of the earth and then external elements and then the ground in between. So once you get past however deep that weather penetrates the soil, I guess you're just kind of chilling whatever like average temp is going on that far from the core.
yeah, it's great unless you get an earthquake.
Yeah, that's probably not ideal. Or you get
Yeah,
like, well, that was the other thing too. They were like, oh, maybe they were hiding from invaders or whatever, and people were like, I don't think so, because like, just cover them up and smoke them out. Like that seems like a bad idea. Oh no, what happened to Pops?
You there?
I'm here. I think.
Hey, we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I hear you now.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we got a little storm going through here.
I mean, I don't know about little because Southern Illinois got some tornadoes.
Yeah, I'm central
That's rough.
though. In this
Oh,
tiny little
children of the
village that
corn.
you guys talked about a couple of times ago.
The one that you're driving and you blink and you miss it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there was a little misconception going on Kyle's end.
Huh?
What's that?
Well, you're under the impression this was some kind of desolate outpost in the middle of nowhere, But in reality, in Illinois, I mean, we're 30 minutes from anywhere we want to go. We're an hour and a half from major cities like St. Louis, Chicago. It is a small village. You go by, and the store did have a fire, but it didn't burn down. It was a small fire in the back room, so the structure's still there. And the guy turned it into an antique shop. And on Fridays we have movies in the park, and they give out popcorn drinks for the kids, and it's a real nice
All five
Americana
of them.
type setting.
All 5 kids.
Yeah, we actually got quite a few kids now. There's got to be a
Look,
half a dozen or so.
here's the problem. Nobody's saying that she ain't got shit 30 minutes from you. But the problem is
that's why we like it.
there's nowhere 30 minutes away that I actually want to go. It's like anywhere you want to go is 30 minutes away. I don't want to go to any of those places. Those places.
Well, if you want to go to a concert, you go to Peoria or Bloomington. I mean, come on. Depends on what you're into.
Yeah, there's a comedy center that everybody goes to there in Peoria.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
got a good
it's like
one
a
over there in
huge
Springfield,
tour stop
too.
for comedy.
Oh.
Can't remember what it's called, but literally, like, it's huge. Everybody goes there.
Huh. I might have to look into that. There's a good one right near me. Arlington Improv is right near here. They've had some pretty cool people. Got to see Russell Peters with my
I think I
nephew.
can see the
That was
name.
pretty funny. He's the Indian guy. You'll recognize him right away. Russell Peters.
Jukebox Comedy Club. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
There it is, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying you
Go
thought you
Jukebox.
recognized Russell Peters' name but couldn't figure out. That guy was really funny though. That was a great show. Anyway, so yeah, so we were talking about the underground cellar stuff.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool for the temperature control thing or whatever. But actually, that kind of is interesting, right? That guy that I was mentioning, I think it was Turkey or something. Anyway, wherever he was doing some home renovations and find that stuff. It's just like the weird shit that you stumble across that's hidden by time and buried by years and whatnot. And but you do stuff kind of like that, Pops, you do some metal detecting stuff, right? Trying to dig up the past once again, kind of.
Yeah, that's a great segue too. Yeah. I do a lot of metal detecting, mud larking, stuff like that.
Is that what they call it? Mudlarking?
That's when you go and find like bottles in the creeks and stuff that have been washing around for 100 years.
That looks
And
like
I
a
found
100-year-old
this.
like salt shaker.
What is that?
They used to put dry toothpaste powder in these, mix them up for brushing your teeth.
Oh,
Civil War. I've been finding a lot of Civil War buckles too.
That's wild, man.
Well, they do grind up charcoal and put it in there.
Another little, basically, yeah. Another little belt.
A little clasp or something.
Yep, and then this 1865 Union Camp Axe.
Oh, that's cool.
I've got several of these.
How can you tell that
then
it's
I'm
Union
always-
versus Confederate or whatever?
I'm always digging these kind of things up.
Is that a bear trap or like a animal?
Just a
snare?
small animal trap.
Small animal.
A smanimal trap?
And these, I find a lot of these.
The fuck is that? Oh,
I'm glad you asked.
Is that a badge?
No, it goes on top of these antique milk bottles. It's a lid for them.
Oh, what the hell? Okay. What are they made out
And
of?
it's hard to find one of those buried that's not destroyed.
What's
I
it made
found
out
the
of?
bottle too. Just aluminum.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if there was
Yeah.
any like value to it for like its weight or something.
I don't know about that. It's a couple of bucks. I find little, antique bottles and stuff.
You remember those the old 7-Up commercials? Like, make 7-Up yours. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are yours? And they're fucking flicking the guy out.
And there's a local band around here called 8 Up.
8-Up. Is it a bunch
With
of fat
with
dudes?
an
It
H?
should be.
Yeah, so anyhow, that's my my little hobby, my metal detecting hobby.
Nice. Two questions. The first one, with 8-Up, is it a group of fat dudes at least?
They got dad bods, you could say, yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking 8-Up. It'd be funnier, like 8-Up, you know.
Yeah.
And then the real question though is what? I guess it is kind of two questions again. What's like the weirdest or craziest like who the hell would think you'd ever find this kind of a thing that you found with your metal detecting, and then what's like the most valuable thing you ever found? And I mean,
Hmm.
and we can do value in two parts, you know, like sentimental, like I just think this is really fucking cool because it's from this time, and why would I ever want to get rid of it? Or like the most you ever got for like reselling something.
Well, I don't know. When I find coins, I like coins a lot,
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to know
and
if
they
they're going to
hold.
be worth what they're worth printed on it or what it was made out of, right?
Right, right. So some of them are silver, some will be counterfeit, some will be reproductions, different sizes. Some reproductions have value too, but I just like to
That
collect them.
looks. That one looks like silver.
Well, you can't really tell. You get the old magnet against it, nothing sticks to the magnet, but then there's some metals that don't stick to a magnet. So you really can't tell until
But
you take it
silver
into
would
the drawer.
have. Silver is really dense, though. Wouldn't it have like a lot of weight to it?
Yeah, I think it's 0.99 something weight value. That's one thing I
I don't
need
know
to
what
do is
that
get a little
means.
scale. I found an Uzi, and then another 50 foot away, I found another Uzi in a river that somebody had thrown over. But these
Oh
Uzis were
shit!
like pellet gun Uzis; they weren't real Uzis,
Oh, okay.
unfortunately. But it's
I
neat.
was
You
like,
never know what you're
damn.
gonna find. So
Pops finds
that's
a
kind
couple
of
of murder weapons.
that's
I
kind of the
mean,
craziest thing that I found, I guess. And my favorite thing is this right here. $500 Coke bottle.
you say a $500 Coke bottle?
Yeah, it's small.
That's one of the first.
It's seamed. Yeah, it's really it's before they even put the trademark on them.
Oh wow.
So yeah, very interesting find. And they
That's
built
when it
these in
had
two
cocaine in
pieces.
it.
They put them. Yeah, they did. They put them together, and then they put the top on afterwards.
Oh
Super
shit.
thick, super small.
Huh.
But yeah, that's my favorite piece.
That's cool.
I guess you can say that's when Coke was even more. Coca-Cola was even more addicting.
And then of course I'm always finding skulls.
You could actually get coked
But
out on Coke back then.
but you got to watch out for the skulls because the deer skulls, you got to call in the ranger and he's got to give you a salvage tag before you can pick it up. But all the other skulls I found, like raccoon or what have you, skunk skulls, you can just take those. Nobody cares.
Now, question: is the deer one because if they saw you with it, like they might try to say that you were hunting out a season or something, or?
Some people shoot deers just for the skulls. Yeah.
I mean, but aren't there people that sometimes shoot deer just for the sake of shooting deer?
Yeah, they do that because sometimes when I drop my kayak in the river going down through the creek in Salt Creek,
Mm-hmm.
periodically you'll go underneath a bridge where a road goes over out in the middle of nowhere, and there'll be 5 or 6 carcasses of deers that people have shot and just dump them because they don't want them. That kind of pisses me off too.
Wow.
If you're going to harvest a deer, I mean, if you get a small one, tough luck, better luck next season.
Yeah, I
Yeah, for
mean,
anybody out there listening and that's into hunting, Illinois has some of the best bucks in the country. A
yeah,
lot of
I mean,
corn-fed deer, big bucks.
I've always, I mean, I don't know if they do it out there, but I've heard of places where like folks can go, and if they don't want their kill, um,
Yeah.
I've heard of places where they can
Yeah,
take
you
it
could
to,
donate it, but you still have to burn a tag when you do it. That's the problem for them.
Yeah. You got a place called
Like
Humphrey's
your
Market.
tag, you might get. I don't know what it is in Illinois now, but I think I remember it being like 1 buck and 2 does a year. So if you go
Yeah.
donate that meat, you're still using a tag.
right, right, right. Yeah, I don't know. There's, I'm sure there's plenty of
So
things
that's why
about it
some
that
people poach.
I don't understand, and there's like tons of nuances to it, but like, I don't know. I guess I have a hard time imagining that deer in particular are in like any danger of being like overly hunted. I've never, if anything,
No,
I
but
always
they
hear
have to
that.
be regulated so that they don't get to that point.
No, I
And then
understand
you
that, but I
got
feel like if anything, in most years they're like, we need people to get out there and shoot more of these fuckers. It's never like the other way around. So my thought is like, what? Like, why would I need anything, especially to just leave with a skull? Like, I don't know. That's just weird. The laws, fucking, there's just weird laws for no reason. I think. I mean, the
yeah.
fact
Well,
that
you
you
got
can,
Well, at least they're not selling tags for like us. So you can be
true,
happy about that.
true, true.
yeah,
Because it'd be like
Soylent
the human
Green.
population is a little
I
over.
mean, I don't
So
know. I don't know. Maybe they should start selling tags for us. People might start behaving a little better. They don't want to get put on that list.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah, right. It's yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. But like I always found it weird. Like you have to go and get a license to to fish. Like it just that was always weird to me. Like I have to ask the government for permission to go and survive off the land, which like was
Well,
how
technically
we
you
were
don't.
designed anyway.
Technically you don't. You don't have to pay somebody with the opportunity to use something that is in the Constitution. Basically.
Right.
But
But I mean it's just like technically you can technically murder people,
I
but
see
you will also go to
Rafiki.
jail for it if you get caught. So it's like there's a lot of things you could technically do, but they'll come bite you
yeah,
in the
What's
ass
Rafiki doing?
if they find out. He's scurrying around my footsies.
a little misdirection.
Oh, he knew I was gonna scoop
He
him, so he
scurried
skipped
off.
out. Yeah, I scooted back, and I like started like getting towards his hind quarter, and he's like, "You're not picking me up." He's like, and ran out of there.
I mean, I think in the only instance because the reason you need licenses for that in particular is that it's all federally owned land that you're using. So like any body of water that travels across state lines is federal.
Mm.
And then on vice versa, if you own some acres and let's say you have a small pond on it, like you wouldn't need a license for that.
Right.
No, but I guess that's what's weird.
It's
To
like you're
me.
paying. It's almost like you're paying somebody else to go on their land, basically.
Right, and I get that, but I guess that's what's still weird to me is like I don't know. I mean when you boil it down, it's like technically on some level somewhere, like everything is owned by everybody. So like even when you're out there like enjoying nature, it's like you said, like it's federal land. So like the government owns this
I
land.
mean,
It's
in
not
in
even like
Scotland, it
our
would be
land.
that way, right? In
Huh?
Scotland, it would be that way, right? In Scotland,
What would be that way? The government would own the land?
there's no private property there.
Well, yeah, over there they tell you what you are allowed to do, and here they tell you what you're not allowed to do. Basically, that's the difference.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that there's no private land. So if you buy a house and put a
Oh yeah,
fence on it, and if you don't allow somebody to walk on your property, it's a crime against you.
In the UK?
In Scotland, yeah.
I did not. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like there's no real private property there. Everybody's allowed to walk where they want.
Stay off the board. Stay off the moors.
See, like, and I don't have a problem with private property. It's just like, it's kind of like that whole, what's that show that everyone got obsessed with? Yellowstone, where it's
Never
like,
seen it.
no, I haven't either, but I know everybody's obsessed with it. But it's like the whole premise is basically this. I think it's like Kevin Costner's character is like some huge rancher, and it's basically like this whole
Yeah.
conundrum of like he's like, this is mine and I want to keep it for my family, and like it's like you have this weird back and forth because you're like part of you wants to be like fuck the government sticking their nose in everybody's business telling them what to do, but then the other side of it is like I don't know if this one guy should really own that much land that no one else can touch or do anything with.
But you got to remember, Yellowstone first started out as like 1834, 1824 or something. That was the original series about Yellowstone when they came and broke the land and all that. Fought the Indians.
That's like some prequel or whatever.
Exactly. So you got to
About
factor. You have to factor that into the way this guy's thinking. It's his
oh well, no,
family history. He's trying to preserve his family history.
yeah, no, he's just greedy. Like I mean,
Well, would you call it greed? I mean, if it was mine and my ancestors broke the land and fought
I'm not saying he
and
didn't, but
bled for it, then it would be my
I mean, yeah, but
obligation
then,
to.
but you know, but it's the same argument could be said for all the natives that they slaughtered to take it from too. So I mean,
Exactly, winner take all. We happen to be the winner
my
this
point
time.
is more so no one man, no one person should have been allowed to, and you also have to take into account that like they showed up when nobody was here, when populations were significantly less, when nothing was the way that it is now, and then over the years they've just expanded that more and more and more, and it's like I don't know, it doesn't really I don't there's no easy answer to it for sure, but
I think personally, something that we need to get into control is wealth. Like I think
yeah,
there's just way too many wealthy people now, and all the companies that make things and design stuff are all aimed at selling something that only a wealthy person would buy. So like
there almost seems there
everything's
almost seems to
gotten
be
out
like
of control.
almost like a profit cap or something. You know what I mean? Like hey, look, like almost like they need to cap like life expenses. Like life can never possibly ever be more expensive than this. So if you make that in half, you can never make more than that because you will never need more than that and a half to do anything you ever want ever at any point in your life or something, you know? Like
Yeah, I don't know if that would work. I think our quality would go pretty shitty, but
it might, but
but
I'm saying but like
what
just
I'm
some sort of a
saying is
cap, yeah.
like you've got dudes that are like they roll around, they're like, "Hey, what's your Rolex look like?" And this is my Rolex. And they're like, "What do you do?" "Oh, I did YouTube for like 6 years." What? Like that? We need less of that.
There's yeah, that's true. And just
Says the podcast boys.
I mean, yeah, we're also not doing this for that though.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
but it's also one of those things too where it's like uh it is a weird situation of like I don't know because it's good that people have more access to the ability to succeed and gain wealth and whatnot now. But at the same time, I feel like it's changed so much. Like before, it used to be like there's always been the aspect of like it's of who you know can help you get places, right? But there was a long stint of time where it was actually like, what can you do? Like, what do you bring to the table, and then that will take you places. Whereas now, it's more about like who you know and if the people that you know can find a way to like manipulate or utilize your image or whatever and make it go viral and then I'm just taking a long way to say that there's a ton of talentless pieces of shit out there that I look at what they're doing and I'm like, why are you making millions of dollars for doing something that I could like I could chart a better product. I could accidentally shit my pants and it would be a better product than what you're fucking doing right now. And you're
That's
making millions.
because
And I
they're
don't
filling
understand
a
it. I do not
void.
understand this culture.
They're filling a void in society. These people in society are missing something in their lives, whatever it may be, and they're trying to fill it up with somebody else's life experience rather than go out and do it themselves.
Well,
And talking about saving money
Oh,
and stuff,
the vicarious, like everybody's vicarious now.
well, they're
we're
missing some
we're
fucking
not.
common sense and dignity, I think.
When I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones. We weren't required to purchase car insurance. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that you have to have now that picks your pocket that we didn't have then. That money just could go into savings. It could go into a cool car, your motorcycle, whatever you wanted. Now it's just like, who am I paying this week with my check? Who am I paying next week? It's just a vicious cycle.
Well, it's not only that, but it's also the buying power of the dollar. Like ever since it stopped being backed by the gold standard, it's been going down. And I want to say that right now we're looking at something stupid like it's like 36 or 53 cents or something. Like the buying power of the dollar compared to what it used to be, it's like half as much, if that. And so then you also have to look at all the because it used to be true. It 100% there was a time where it was true that you would get out what you put in. But that time has been long fucking gone because cost of living has continued to go up, and wages and salaries have stayed exactly the same. So that 50,000 that you used to put into life before to get 50,000 back out is now giving you putting 50,000 worth of work in, and you're maybe getting 20,000 worth of returns on that. And then hopefully you figured out how to scrape by for the difference, like
That's okay.
Yeah, so
you
that
can
would-
find somebody to loan you the money out there.
right.
I was just
And
looking
There's
at
somebody out there.
I was just looking at what the current debt is. Like it's 36 trillion.
Jesus.
Like if we if we didn't have that issue, then there might be some buying power.
But my question too is like, who the fuck are we indebted to? Like the Decepticons? Like who the fuck?
The Federal Reserve, I believe.
Which is
There's
the
an
crazy
old
thing. Is
saying.
the Federal Reserve is about as federal as fucking FedEx, dude. It's a privately owned company.
There's an old
Exactly,
saying.
like-
As long as you owe me money, I'm not broke. That's basically what they're living on.
I guess that's true. It is all, and it's all fractional reserve, and it's all money just created out of nowhere. It's not real. None of it's real.
Now we're talking about
Yeah,
Bitcoin,
there's
huh?
there's almost not enough gold in the world. Okay, that fell. There's almost not enough gold in the world to make up 36 trillion.
Okay. Oh my God. How much purchasing power has the dollar lost since 1971? The dollar has lost over 96% of its value. What? The dollar is worth about 3 or 4 cents compared to what it used to be worth. Jeez.
So look up the British pound and the Swiss franc and see if any of those have lost value.
I'm pretty sure the British pound has been doing okay, actually.
This shows that the dollar value is 103.734 USD, and it's only dropped 0.10% today in the past 24 hours.
No, that does not mean the purchasing power.
Purchasing power. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, like when the rest of the world kind of thing. Like how much does a dollar mean to the rest of the world?
1 pound will get you $1.29.
Ooh la la. Buying power. Yeah, 31.3.
But what about the buying power over the history of the pound and the Swiss franc?
Swiss franc is 1.13.
Dude, I remember taking
Yeah.
it when we took like a little trip to Switzerland and just went like it is, we're talking like noon, just going out to lunch. It was $60 just to get lunch.
Jeez.
What was it? What'd you eat?
I think it was a sandwich and some fondue, like cheese and bread.
You had a 70s lunch, huh? Fondue and a sandwich. Listening to a little
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher in the background.
Well, I just remember like we were there, got a little history on their army and how it works, and then how they feel about weapons. Like almost every household is mandated to have a weapon there. But yeah, we thought it'd be really cool to try like a chocolate fountain, and then we ate lunch and we're like, man, I'm not gonna spend another $90 on a chocolate fountain.
What? Damn, dude.
That reminds me of the chocolate fountain at one of our local restaurants. I won't name which one it was, but there was this kid walked up to it and he's holding his cup out there. I don't know what he had in the cup. And then he sneezed right into the chocolate fountain. I was like, I'm not going for that. That was pretty disgusting. And the
You got that
lighting was
buffet
just right. So when it was just like a nice misty spray. You could see every little particle. It's like, oh no. Horrible. but the steaks were good. Yeah, this shows USDA. The euro is at 0.9. The Australian dollar is 1.5. So that's holding pretty good.
No, Australian
no.
dollar don't work too well either.
No, I don't think Australia is doing good. I think everything's expensive there, and their money's not going very far.
Yeah,
That's what.
But it's 1.5.
it's kind of one of those things.
So.
It's kind of one of those things. The way that they explain it is like, yeah, you can go get a job and you'll make way more money than you are now, but it's going to cost so much more money to live there that it's not worth it.
Right.
That's like this dude. I watched one of the best.
Dude, I have a
videos.
good friend of mine. Like he just retired a couple years ago. His brother actually moved to Australia and lives there, and he was explaining how it works.
I was just watching a video last night of this dude doing a breakdown of this guy who he said is the worst person on 90 Day Fiance, which also is just a fucking stupid show. It's if you ever want to just watch a bunch of people to feel better about yourself, that's a real easy view. But anyway,
go big in.
Oh yeah, see that guy's from there, but this guy's worse than him apparently. He's this guy named Jan or something. But it's just what you were saying is funny about the money thing because so he literally explains that he prefers women. He says that he's gynosexual, which does not mean that he only sleeps with gynecologists. It means apparently that he's just attracted to like the people and their stuff, regardless of what they present as or whatever. He said that his preference he wants to find himself. Basically, he wants a transvestite. He wants a dude transitioning into a woman, but he's like, I want a lady with a female penis. We were like, and even I paused. I was like, that's not a thing. And then
nah, that's just a gay guy that likes boobs.
I don't know. Either way, it was funny, but his whole idea was that he matched with this lady, this guy, girl, whatever, in the Philippines, named Faith, and his whole idea was that he was gonna go out there, and he's like, I'll just get a job out there, and the cost of living is so much better, like it'll be great, and like immediately, I'm like, wait a minute, and immediately the video is like record scratch. It's like, wait, and he's like, you do realize that if you move to the Philippines and get a job in the Philippines, like that lesser cost of living doesn't matter because you're not making American money and an American salary. Like you're not. Like, what are you not getting about this, dude?
Dude, that reminds me of that little video. Is like, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah, hold up, wait a minute. It was like I smell that. Hold up, wait a minute. Yeah, it was that shit had me laughing. Oh, and then there was like 1,000,001 red flags. The dude was broke. He was working 3 jobs and still had no money. He was treating his visit to the Philippines like an Olympic sport where he was learning how to boil shrimp because apparently that's Filipino cuisine is shrimp with garlic. And
good, don't knock it.
But it's anywhere's cuisine. It's not Filipino food. Like it's just shrimp and garlic. It was just funny.
Damn Louisianans.
Yeah, and so he's cooking it in his bathroom. He lives in Vegas.
You got to get about a 2-pound of that butter, dude.
Exactly. That guy would have shown him what's what. But this dude lives in Vegas in an apartment, and he's in his bathroom cooking these things on like a hot plate on top of the toilet. And then he's literally like sitting in there eating it. And he's also doing jumping jacks in there with it because he tries to get the room all steamy so he can get adjusted to how hot and humid the Philippines will be. And then he gets there and has to tell her that he's got gonorrhea, has been sleeping around on her, even though they've been like dating for a month only online. It was like such a mess.
They need to change the name of the show from The Bachelor to The Ex-Bachelor.
Well, this was 90-day fiance.
Oh, 90-day fiance. Yeah, that's all
Yeah,
you can take of that guy. Gee.
it's like weird. They go and like, I don't remember. I don't know what the stipulations are, but you basically have like, I think it's because you have 90. They can be your fiance for 90 days before you have to actually get married. And that's like the whole thing with the like marriage visa or whatever.
Mm. Yeah,
Interesting.
people will watch anything, I guess.
So you like them bachelor shows and stuff, huh?
No, I don't watch that shit at all. There was a YouTube video of this guy like making fun of it, and I was laughing my ass off the whole time.
It's just for
Dude,
research.
have you seen the? Was it Cody and Company or something? Have you seen that dude?
Cody and Company.
Cody and something. I don't know if it's his wife's name or whatever, but it's Cody and something with a K. And he does these videos where like they'll do like Tinder dates gone wrong. Like there's a show on YouTube called The Button. It's like a blind date. And
Okay, yeah,
they
I've
get a
seen
red
that.
button in front of them and they can
Yeah.
Yeah,
They'll,
so
like, hit the button if they don't like it or whatever.
they'll like watch that shit, or it'll be like crazy stories from text messages or something. They'll watch it and talk about it, and it's usually just him, but they're just hilarious when he talks about this shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't heard of him.
No one.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
was
check him
thinking
out.
about trying to get
It's
into
Cody
stuff
and
like
something.
that.
What's their names again?
On YouTube, it's like KODI Cody, and I don't remember his wife's name. I think it's his wife's name.
Cody and Fetty?
Cody
that's about it.
Oh.
I got a rap song you should check out, Kyle.
Oh God, what is it?
It's called The Mexican OT by Johnny Dang.
No, it's not. It's called Johnny Dang by the Mexican OT.
Is it? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny Dang.
Yeah, because he said he's like, I'm a dirty baby. I'm a dirty baby from Dirty Bay with the dirty K. Slide down your block right up with flames.
Dude, it just cracks me up because they keep like they're trying to show off like their teeth, but they're just regular white teeth.
Well, so Johnny Dang apparently is like this.
They're like, check out my grill, and it's just like teeth.
So I didn't know this, but Johnny Dang is actually like apparently in the hip hop world and whatnot. He's a super famous, well-known jeweler. Like he's Vietnamese and he's a jeweler, and he popularized the whole grill thing. Him and like Paul Wall and shit.
Oh, I got it now. It's Cody and Co. So Cody is actually spelled CODY and KO. Co.
Cody and Co.
Oh, Cody and Co.
Cody and
Oh,
Co.
dude, I totally forgot to tell you. The guy I was playing with yesterday was my Asian buddy, and I was playing with him and his other two Asian buddies. And so I was out there and I was doing my accent, and they were like, "Bro, that's so good." He's like, you sound more Vietnamese than I do. Oh, and then they told me that dick in Vietnamese is CAC. CAC. And I was like, bro, you're telling me that my military ID literally was dick, just in another language? Like when we made that joke, CAC's out for Harambe, we weren't wrong. like what?
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy right there.
For fucking real. I was like, this is serendipitous information, sir. that
is
really
funny.
Yeah, it was a good time. Those guys.
Did you hit him with the old rice patty daddy bullshit?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. I did. I was like, oh no, rice patty daddy can't sink the ball. And fucking the one guy, one of his buddies' name was Bao, and I thought they said his name was Mao. And so I was saying it wrong. So I was like, oh, is it Mao? And he's like, no, Bao, like with a B. I was like, oh, like Bao buns. He's like, yeah, Bao buns. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, that's good though, because I was going to say, for being named after a vicious dictator, this guy isn't bossing us around a whole lot. He's pretty friendly.
Oh man, it's too soon.
Nah, they had a laugh. They were like, ah. I don't know that.
They're
I
like,
think they're all-
I'm
yeah,
killing
they're
this
like,
guy later.
Yeah, right. Or like that one, what'd you say, the Korean guy or whatever that you played with that like only once or twice was like, superb.
Yeah.
Superb.
Dude, he was like 93 too.
Holy crap.
It was crazy. We were playing. We got paired randomly. It was an Asian guy. He's probably in his like late 30s. We were playing, and then there was a guy by himself behind us. Had his own little push cart playing by himself. Old Asian guy, he was literally 93. And the guy that we were playing with was like, "Oh yeah, I know him." And then me and Ray were like, "Do you think he'd want to join us?" So he has some company. And he's like, "I'll go ask him." And then we heard him. He started speaking. I don't even know. I don't know if it was. I think it was Mandarin. But and then he was like, "Yeah, he said he'll join us." And like he wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed by anything. But like I remember like I hit one bunker shot that almost went in the holes right next to it, and then one of my drives was like really good, and he was like, "Oh, superb." I was like, "There's good shots all day." He wasn't impressed by him, but like there was a couple shots. He was like, "That was superb."
Superb.
It was worth the wait. Man of little.
He's very quiet.
I think
It's
I've
like
seen this
you'd
guy
ask him
before.
questions. You'd ask him questions, and he'd typically just nod.
Yeah, I've seen this Cody guy before. I don't know what I've seen him reviewing before, but I've seen this guy.
All I know is he's hilarious, dude. He can explain things and make it really funny.
One of the millionaires.
That's what I would like to do it at some point. Or like there's a Spotify. I mean, it's all over everywhere, like Spotify, YouTube, all that shit. Called Let's Read, and I like his stuff. I think he just finds like stories people post on Reddit, and then there's just like some low music kind of carry on in the background, and just talked over it or whatever, just saying whatever the stories are. Some people will share stories about like a crazy coworker that did something weird at work, or the night that they couldn't sleep all
Yeah.
night because the TV kept turning on randomly or something, or like oh, this is like the crazy story my grandfather finally told us about something he did in his youth or something. Like it's just like weird shit like that, but it's cool. It's kind of like you never know what kind of stories people have. So
Yep.
but I'd love to get into something like that, just like
How about some
reading it.
How about some stories, pops?
Yeah, I'm sure you got
Oh
stories.
man. I don't know if I can tell you any stories. I guess I got a murder story from the Depression days.
You got it. Oh, speaking of which, before you get into that, because mine's real short, I just played this golf course a couple weeks ago with Ray. It's called Blue Vines or Blue Eagles or something. But there's a park right next to it, and there's a trail, and like we parked in the parking lot right next to it, and we get out, and Ray goes, "That's where the Zodiac killed his first person. That was where the body was right there."
Huh.
Like, oh shit, and then he was like, "Yeah," and there was a bunch in this park after that.
No shit. The Zodiac.
Yeah, we were like right next to the fence, and he was like, it was like right there.
That's crazy.
Turns out it was Ray. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
What if it was? What?
No, dude, some guy got on social media and was like, I am almost 100% that my grandpa was the Zodiac, and here's why. And it made a lot of sense.
I seen that one. I saw that one. Yeah. Pretty compelling.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a few
So
little,
what was your story?
little story. I'll tell you the one about serial killers from California, since you guys are both there. Joined the California
Well, he's
Conservation.
in Texas.
Oh, that's right. Well, anyhow, you're that way. You're closer to California than I am. Joined the California Conservation Corps, right? Get put in a crew, an all-male crew. which is cool, you know. So we do our whole thing, run up in the morning, run up Mount Motherfucker, run back down, eat our breakfast, and then we go out and do river clearance, fire control, stuff like that. Well, this one particular morning, we're running up the mountain, and we decide to take this side trail. A guy jumps out with a shotgun, threatens us. We all take off and ran away, right? Because we're, you know, fresh out of high school and stuff. Went back and told our crew leader. Crew leader called the cops. Cops went over there, investigated. Come to find out, the guy was Leonard Lake. I don't know if you've heard of Leonard Lake and Ing, a couple of serial killers from Calaveras County, California.
Leonard
What
Lake?
they did was they killed everybody or all their neighbors. They had a torture chamber. They'd advertise stuff for sale. People would come up and buy it, and they just kill them. And since we had the only all-male crew, we got the task of going up there and getting into the grid sections and looking for anything that wasn't organic. And as soon as we found something that, you know, a piece of metal, a bone, whatever, put a flag in it, jump into another square. So they eventually, I think Leonard took a cyanide pill and killed himself. And Ing was in Victorville prison. I don't know if he was ever executed or not. But that's one of my little brushes with a serial killer story.
Yeah, dude, I'm literally reading it right
Just
now.
one,
It says,
just one.
no, it says upon being arrested
Well, I can't incriminate nothing.
upon being arrested on unrelated charges in '85, Lake swallowed cyanide pills that he had sewn into his clothing and died 4 days later.
Yep. That was up there. That was our crew right there.
Yeah, and then
Probably
it
got
says
pictures.
Ing was born in
Dude, that
Hong
was
Kong.
that guy was so ready to be busted that he sewn pills into his own clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Oh, they were both former Marines. I feel like I saw something about these guys not too long ago because this mugshot of Ing looks super familiar. Wearing the old like Marine, like Army issue, like aviator style.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Huh. Oh, he was in military
Lunatics.
prison and he escaped military prison. That's why I knew about this. Yes, he had been stealing weapons, and he escaped, and then he stayed at Lake's motel. I guess Lake owned a motel.
That was more like a compound up in the woods. And he had a cinder block building that he built in the back, which was a torture chamber.
Mm.
Did you end up going to that compound?
Yeah, they had it all gridded out with stakes and strings, and we get into one square. When we found anything that wasn't organic, we'd put a flag in it and then jump into another square and start digging in that until we found something.
What was a square? Was it like an acre or was it like a football field?
No, I had like 3 foot by 3 foot. It was a tiny square.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of us there. They probably got pictures on it, or of the squares, the grid search and all that. Yeah, that duo was pretty sick though.
Yeah. That sounds wild.
Yeah, for real.
And of course, they got a video tape, a video camera off of one of their first victims, so they videotaped the rest of them, you know, and it's horrifying stuff. But yeah, that's my little story.
So,
That's crazy.
So why don't you think you guys got shot that day?
I don't know, probably because there were like a half a dozen of us. If there was one or
Yeah.
two, he probably would have captured us and taken us. I'm sure, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, half a dozen teenage
Maybe
guys.
maybe he was just overwhelmed in that moment, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we did go off trail too, and we really weren't supposed to.
That is a lot of, to be fair, that is a lot of people for one freaking 3x3 square.
No, not a lot of people in it. One person per square.
Still, but one person, you know, yeah, I get, you know, like you're moving on to a square, but like one person can cover a lot.
Yeah, 3x3, but you're digging down.
These guys are out in the wilderness doing FOD walks.
Well, they're doing FOD digs, he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I guess.
How's that finger taste?
Pretty good. I keep getting these stupid ass hangnails.
I'm about to lose my fingernail. I smashed it.
Mm.
Barely hanging on.
Wait, because you said he jumped out at you with a shotgun?
Stepped out on the trail while we were out there.
Did he have oh, actually, it doesn't say it was a shotgun. Never mind. It was saying that he. So it says, excuse me. It says that he was arrested after a gun equipped with a prohibited silencer was found in the trunk of his vehicle.
That would have been while they were stealing a vice, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
A
were
vice,
saying,
like the
so you were
workbench
saying
vice.
that like I'm sorry, I get it now. So that's when they got
See,
like
all this happened at the same time. It all corresponded around the same few days. Him
Oh,
getting
right,
busted
okay.
down there, us on the trail, the shotgun, them, the investigation. It all happened really quick at one time frame.
That's wild. Damn. So yeah, they just had they just had a what does it say? They were found and they found a dungeon, yeah, a makeshift burial site as well.
Yep.
Damn, they said a makeshift burial site nearby. Police unearthed over 40 pounds of burned and crushed human bone fragments corresponding to a minimum of 11 bodies.
Yeah. A lot of them were children too, babies and stuff.
And a fucking treasure map that led to 2 buried 5-gallon buckets. One had names and
Buckets of what?
identification. Well, it said one contained an envelope with names and identifications.
Oh, like their
Suggesting
IDs and stuff.
Trophies.
That's what I'm reading. An envelope that contained names and identifications, suggesting that the total number of victims might have been as high as 25. In the other bucket were Lake's handwritten journals for the years 83 and 84, and 2 videotapes documenting the torture of 2 of their victims. On one of the
Yeah.
tapes labeled M Ladies, Ing is seen telling victim Brenda O'Connor as he cuts her shirt off with a knife, "You can cry and stuff like the rest of them, but it won't do any good. We are pretty cold hearted, so to speak." In another part of the tape, Catherine Allen is seen seated in a chair with Lake warning her, "If you don't go along with us, we'll probably take you into the bed, tie you down, rape you, shoot you, and bury you." In the other, Deborah Dubbs is shown being assaulted so severely that she could not have survived. That's crazy. Apparently, his ex-wife cooperated with investigators, but she was also in on some of that shit and was in like some of the pornos he was making, I guess.
Yep, sick individuals.
That's always baffling to me when you find like those couples that are doing that, or like because there were instances like, for instance, like the Iceman killer,
Mm-hmm.
Kaczynski or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Ted.
Yeah. He no wait, no. Wait, was that the am I mixing them up? Was Ted Kaczynski, was that the Unabomber?
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
What was the other guy's name? Ivan Kaczynski?
No, the Iceman killer, Richard Kuklinski.
Richard, yeah.
But I knew it was some sort of like Insky thing or whatever. It's this guy. Let me share this so people can see who I'm talking about.
It's a pretty hardcore documentary he has too about him.
Yeah,
The
this
interview and all.
is not very zoomed in or whatever. But it's not letting me zoom in anymore. But that's him, and he got caught because he was like freezing the bodies, and then
Wasn't he the guy that killed a lot of people for mobs?
yes, yep, he was the guy who like
Yep.
the first thing they had him
Yeah,
do
I
was,
remember.
like, go kill that guy, and he like walked by a guy on the street that was walking his dog, and as soon as he passed him, he just turned around and shot him in the back of the head, and they were like, "Okay, you're in."
Yeah, I remember seeing a documentary where he talked about his anger with people. Like he would said that he would easily be upset and want to kill somebody. Like he's like, we're standing. I'd probably he just easily be able to kill.
Yeah, he had like he struggled to connect with people. I think he was a sociopath essentially, or I don't know, maybe a psychopath is the right one because he was actually like violent. But the weird thing is, and what I was really trying to say is like it's so hard to know who's in on it or not because he's one of the examples where like his wife and kids like they legitimately had no idea what the fuck he was doing. Like they thought that he was just some business guy that dealt with a lot of like shipping and trading and things like that. So he'd get called out at all weird hours and whatnot because he's dealing with people overseas on different time schedules, blah, blah, blah. So when he would just get up in the middle of the night and go do some stuff, whatever, like they never really questioned it. And yeah, like his wife, his kids, his neighbors, like nobody that knew him outside of the people that knew him in the business that he did had any idea as to what he was up to. They just thought he was like some successful, like commodities trader or some shit or whatever he was.
Double life.
It's just wild to me though, because like obviously it has happened, but then at the same time, how many times is that really what's happening? How many times is that just an excuse, but she was actually like in on it? You know, like I just for how long was she maybe sort of aware and didn't say anything, but did like she wasn't involved, but she also didn't do anything to stop it, and she was like there was no way she wasn't aware. So
she turned a blind eye so she could enjoy the money.
Yeah, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I just wonder for anybody in any situation, guy, girl, son, daughter, whatever, like just like how do you really determine that they truly didn't know or
Yeah, but like
or to make
that's
the argument that like you knew enough that you should have said something or should have done something and you didn't, so we're still gonna hold you accountable, like
that's a big difference with a contracted killer too. Like, he just has a contract to do something.
mm-hmm.
So when investigations start on everything, there's no connection and motive. So like it goes on for such a long time because it's really hard to connect into it.
Yeah, because usually the people that kill or abduct are people that you know.
Yeah, but
he,
this guy
he doesn't know the person or have a motive
no, exactly.
other than
No, that's
money.
my point. Yeah,
he would take them down into caves and videotaping the rats eating them to death. I mean, you're
talking about the guy that you knew.
No, the guy we're talking about, Kaczynski.
Well, I guess if the mob like wanted him tortured,
I don't.
I can only imagine if.
But that was one of his things is killing them with rats, and then tying them to a chair.
Is that where they got the
rats to kill them?
Is that where they got the hot bucket from?
Maybe.
Put a rat in a bucket on somebody's stomach, and then you heat the metal bucket up.
Oh no, that's old. That's ancient. That's ancient time stuff there. Yeah, I wouldn't enjoy watching somebody suffer that much. I don't know. Not built that way, I guess.
I'm trying to see. I don't remember hearing anything about him doing anything.
Oh yeah, you ought to watch the.
Oh man, he cut out again.
Yeah, we were talking about the Iceman and how he.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we were talking about. Yeah, I was talking about how they called him the Iceman because he met with another killer who taught him to use an industrial, like food freezer, ice cream freezer, to freeze the body. So they would murder someone, freeze the body, and then like weeks, months. I think there was an instance where it was maybe even up to a year after the fact. They went and like dumped these bodies later, and it was fucking with the cops because they couldn't get a proper time of death because these bodies weren't decomposing like they should have been until after being thawed out and left. And then they caught him because one of the bodies still had some ice left on the heart when they did an autopsy. And so they were like, oh shit, these motherfuckers have been frozen. That's why everything seems really weird.
The Iceman.
That's kind of like, I'm not gonna lie though, like it's obviously sick and twisted, but like that's pretty fucking genius when you think about it. Like, oh hey, how about we just flash freeze these bodies, and then we'll dump them out there later when we get a chance to or whatever, and like nobody will ever know because I don't know. That's wild to me. That's
Have you watched the Dexter New Blood,
no, I'm
I've
not into
or not
that
New
stuff.
Blood, but the young one?
I have
The
not.
new
I'm not
one,
into
it's pretty
that.
damn good. I didn't think anybody was going to be able to, pull off Dexter's character, or even at a younger age. But this guy's exactly like him.
I have not seen one episode of that.
Yeah, I
It's
tried to
good. It's so good.
I've
see.
never seen an episode. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I can't like those shows. They don't do it for me, man. They're like it's like too. I don't know. Like I tried to get into Dexter, and I was like, I get it. Like it's kind of a cool concept. Like, oh, I'm a serial killer, and there's nothing I can do about it. Well, like at least maybe I can try and harness it for good. Like, interesting concept for sure. Pretty cool. Um, but like, I just couldn't buy it. I even the beginning, like it was just too. I don't know. It was just too corny to me. I was like, nope, no. There would not be a detective father that would be like, oh, let me teach my serial killer son how to be a serial killer for the good guys. Like, no, that wouldn't happen. Not at all. And then all the things that happen, it's like, you would not be able to hide that for that long. It would literally be impossible. Like, there's no way all of these people don't know exactly who and what the fuck you are by the end of the first season. Like, 0 point. I mean, zero chance. Like,
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to watch shows for them being shows.
no, I agree. But that's
It's like
where
that's when you watch a sci-fi, you're not like, oh yeah, I can, this is real.
but that's the point. It's not trying to be real. Like Interstellar was trying to be realistic and did a really good job at being realistic. Dexter wants to be realistic, but it's just there's nothing realistic about that ever happening.
That's why I like the old '70s movies.
Yeah, let it be corny as fuck on purpose.
White knuckles and
Like
real car chases.
Oh well, yeah, like Bullet, yeah, or
Yeah.
then they got
Vanishing Point.
but then you get all the corny one-liners or whatever, and it's like license to kill, it's been revoked. It's like just dumb shit like that.
I am here to chew bubble gum and kick ass.
Yeah.
And I am
And I'm
all
all
out
out
of
of
bubble
bubble
gum.
gum.
Yeah.
Wasn't that They Live?
Yeah, Rowdy Roddy.
Yeah, Roddy Piper and the dude. Oh my god, I can't think of his name right now, but he's the same guy who went on to voice like the Arbiter in Halo and whatnot. He's oh my god. I'm gonna find his name. Well, Keith David. There we go. He's got such an iconic voice, but he's the other like jacked black dude that he gets into a fight with, and then they're both suddenly like, wait a minute, why are we fighting each other when there's these weird motherfuckers around? Let's be on the same team. And he's like, yeah, let's be on the same team.
Yeah. Classic movie.
Yeah.
That's underrated.
It really is. And honestly, one might even be able to argue that there's a lot more correlations to the current times than one might like to admit.
Yeah, I'll admit it.
Just, yeah. Imagine if you could get glasses like that, though. Like, or like how, what was it? I think Robin Williams used to say that, like, politicians should have all of their corporate donors stitched on the back of their suit jacket like a NASCAR driver. So you know exactly who and what you're voting for.
Yeah. That's a great thing about Google.
That's true. Yeah. Google. Well, even that too. It's like, I mean, that's the problem, right? It's like there's so much information out there, but even vetting whether or not you're getting good information is difficult to do these days. It's like it's a challenge, you know. You want to be like, oh, I read it on Google in the New York Times, and it's like, okay, but we could also show you like a dozen New York Times articles that have been absolute lies over the last decade. Like it's so hard to know where good information comes
psyops
from.
and that crap.
Yeah, that's why you gotta basically look at everything and then ignore all of it.
Believe half of what you see and none of what you don't see.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, it's weird. But I would I would be curious to see. You know, actually, it's funny we're talking about this movie too. It just got me thinking. Like, maybe you can talk about that. Actually, like, uh, just like pop culture and stuff. Like the difference of it, maybe from like when you were growing up to now. Like, I feel like there were a lot more original ideas back then. And I mean, granted, time goes on, and at a certain point, maybe it's hard to have any original ideas. But it just seems like nowadays, even like original things are basically just like it's just something else reskinned. Like my dad made a funny joke one time, uh, where I was like telling him I was gonna go see the Avatar movie, and he's like, "Oh, you mean Dances with Wolves in Space?" And I was like,
Right.
"What?" And then I watched it, and I was like, "Motherfucker!"
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's what they're doing, you know. Like Disney is just like adding a different color palette. Like, oh, now we're gonna do the Hispanic Snow White, and but keep all of the storyline parts the same. We're just gonna make it a brown skinned Hispanic woman, which is like completely opposite of the whole point of the character being
It's
named
called
Snow White.
social engineering
Yeah, it's just
through
but my point is
entertainment.
like just the reskinning or just the reshaping of things as opposed to original ideas. Like, how do you feel about that? Like, do
I
you feel
think
like
it's
it
a
was kind
terrible
of the same?
idea.
They just did it better back then, or was it original ideas and
Yeah,
now?
we did it better
See,
back then.
stuff like
We were original. We
for
did it
me,
all better back then. You guys suck.
me personally, like I could care less. I could care less about them reskinning the character. But when they do it to add like sexuality to it, that's when I'm like,
Well,
bro,
where
this
I
like
draw
this is
the
the dumbest
line
shit I've
is
ever
when
seen.
it.
It's like let's just make an example. Like let's say SpongeBob. SpongeBob, or shows like that, like he never really had a sexuality. He wasn't attracted to anything. And then they're
I
like gonna
thought
purposely come
I
out with a
thought he
new
had the hots
SpongeBob
for
that's
that
like, well,
squirrel.
this SpongeBob's gay. I was like, why?
Why does any kids show have to have any character with any orientation? Why are
That's what I'm
kids
saying.
like
They can
instantly
make it whatever, like
they
whatever
can
ethnic race or anything, like they can make it whatever. But like when you add sexuality to it, that's when it doesn't
it
make
gets
sense.
weird. Well, my thing too is I agree with you. I'm not necessarily worried about reskinning, but it is a problem when it actually affects like the whole basis of the character, right? So like for instance, Snow White is a perfect example because she's literally called Snow White because her skin was as white as the pure snow or whatever, you know, like so she shouldn't have any complexion other than pale as fuck. Um and then and then another one that I experienced was I don't know if you're familiar with Stephen King's The Dark Tower series, but they made a movie
Kinda.
of it. So all right, so the book is based on this guy called Roland the Gunslinger. There's this whole there's a whole lot to it, but anyway, bottom line is in one of the books, because he's a white guy, he has a very interesting interaction with a woman. So there's a part of this book where like he finds these doors on this beach, and when he goes into these doors, he literally like steps into the mind of another person, and he can't control what they do, but he can step forward and become more present in their mind and be like a voice that they're communicating with, or he can step further back and just be kind of like a whisper or like an urge for them, and he can see things through their eyes and whatnot and like guide them on what to do and such. And one of the instances is particularly essential to this book is because he's a white man and he steps through a door and he ends up in the mind of a wheelchair bound handicapped African American woman or black woman, and she has an extremely hard time connecting with him and trusting him in any capacity because of the extreme racism she's dealt with, and she doesn't trust any white men. And it's a huge like story dynamic and character dynamic and whatnot. And then they made this movie and they casted the main bad guy, who I think was also a white guy, so it doesn't matter, but they casted him as Matthew McConaughey. And then they had Idris Elba as the gunslinger. Phenomenal actor. Love the stuff that he's in. Not the fucking gunslinger. He's about as black as he can get. He's not a white dude. Like it just, and granted, the story and what they used for the movie was kind of like its own like standalone thing. but it's like, who are you even making it for at that point? Because you're obviously not even making it for the fans, because the fans appreciate the story for its originality and in its whole entirety as an original piece. So like, who are you pandering to and why? Like,
That's called social engineering. What gets me is like, let's use Starsky and Hutch. I grew up watching Starsky and Hutch. I mean, a gritty crime drama,
yeah,
a buddy movie, right? And then they do the remake, and it's some goofy comedy. You know, I was wanting some real grit and blood. I mean, that was the time they could have really gone all out on Starsky and Hutch. It would have been a great crime drama. It was a sucky comedy.
That movie
That's
is
what
hilarious
gets me.
though.
I think
And I was
I do
okay,
think the
but
movie's funny, but that's probably because I didn't have.
I think Ben Stiller was a pretty good cast.
Yeah, he's like, do it.
for a comedy, but
Body
it shouldn't have
of
been remade into a comedy. It should have been remade into a gritty crime drama.
Do it. I see. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
seen
I
the
get
original Starsky and Hutch though, so I have no comparison as to like.
I've seen a bit.
I was thinking of it more like. I mean, I guess I always.
It's
I
not a
don't know.
comedy, but it is extra cheesy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, so like, I guess Chips was the same way then, right? Like Chips was pretty cheesy, but wasn't really meant to be a comedy.
Right.
But the movie Chips was actually pretty fucking funny. It had some great action in it too, though. That was. If you haven't seen the Chips movie, that shit's pretty funny. It's got Dax Shepard and
Yeah, I see it.
I can't remember his name, but it's the Spanish guy that does like the Marvel movie recaps. He's like, right. So like I was saying, so my cousin, right? So he knows this guy. Like when he goes on the fucking thing as he breaks everything down for Paul Rudd. He's like, so then Tony was talking to Jimmy, was talking to Tina, and she said that she saw him last week without the cake. It's like, wait, what?
Chips.
But yeah, that's just always. I guess I have had that curiosity. Is like, does it feel that way to you? Do you feel like what happened to the originality, or like,
Yeah, totally.
because I feel that way, and it's weird because there was even a time, like I would say probably 90s, maybe early 2000s, there was still some like unique, more original concepts and whatnot that were coming out that were still pretty cool. But it's like once we hit like the 2010s and started moving from there, a lot of things just started to be like, how can we like repaint this old thing, you know?
Yeah, like the Planet of the Apes. I mean, it was great, and then they developed it into a little series of movies, and then that spun off into a television series, and then it went into all kinds of computer animation and stuff. It just lost its essence, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the ones too, though, where I can see the remaking of that one simply because, like, if I don't know, like that story can still resonate with people, but there are some folks that are just like they can't seem to like get into or sit through or connect to like old school visual effects or old school practical effects compared to now, because they're just like, oh, it's too unbelievable compared to what I've, you know what I mean? Like you got a lot of kids now that are in like their early 20s that all they grew up with was like all this high def 4K crazy Star Wars graphics.
Yeah,
and all that
CGI.
shit. Like, yeah,
Right. It's
all
made up.
right, exactly. But they're not, they don't get that same feeling of nostalgia and connectedness as they do seeing practical effects like we do watching like an old Star Wars movie that we grew up with or something, you know, where it's
Right,
like, man,
right.
they pulled that off with little models and stuff and it still looks just as good. But like it doesn't connect for them. So I can kind of understand a movie like Planet of the Apes where it's like, well, now we don't have to use like weird claymation or guys in monkey suits or whatever. We can have like an actual like real looking chimp interacting with somebody and somebody that they can relate to, like, oh, that's James Franco. Wow, I remember him from all the Spider-Man movies. Like I know who this guy is. And so I can see people owning that franchise trying to like tap into a newer, younger audience by throwing a new coat of paint on the old thing or whatever. And that's also such a drastic change to go from those old school practical effects to now everything being digitally remastered and digitally rendered. It's not quite the same as like completely changing the core essence of a character that's essential to the plot, you know?
Yeah, but it worked good. It worked good. And plus, the props and the setups and stuff. You look on the shelves of stuff in the background of some of these 70s movies, and you see stuff that your mom and your grandma and stuff might have had. it is having nostalgia value to it.
Oh, for sure.
Brings you closer to your childhood, memories and that feeling of wonderment and excitement of when you're going to grow up and you're going to do these kind of things. And then you grow up and find out everything's fake. There you go.
No, it's true, man. I mean,
So, and you guys want to guess what year and first movie used CGI?
What year and first movie?
I would say CGI, huh?
Wait, all right, wait, hold on. That's a good question. Wait, are we talking special effects where it's like just tricks to make things look like something it's not, or actual like computer generated imagery?
It is. It's computer generated imagery is the first one.
All right, no, I'm just making
it.
sure. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Is it
I'll give you, if you guys don't
2001:
guess
A
it,
Space
I'll give
Odyssey?
you a year and then see if you guys can guess it. What's
Okay.
that?
I just guessed randomly. I said, was it 2001: A Space Odyssey?
No.
It's actually way earlier than that.
Oh, okay. What year?
73.
1973, huh?
Oh, wait.
And it's not Star Wars. It's not Star Wars, huh?
No, Star Wars actually used it, but it was in 77.
Oh, is it All's Quiet on the Western Front?
Nope.
Wait. Is it Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Hey, that's a good one.
Nope.
But not as good as Day of the Triffids.
Wait, was I wrong though? Was it not Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
No, it's not.
I don't know what year that movie was made though. 73.
You guys want me to give you an actor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Newman?
Director is Michael Crichton.
Michael Crichton? Oh, Jurassic Park.
Never heard of him.
Nope.
Wait, he did Jurassic Park. Wait, no. Michael Crichton wrote Jurassic Park, I think. Hold on. Okay. I don't. What else is that? What else is he directing?
Zombie movie?
Oh,
Yul Brynner.
Yul Brynner.
Yul Brynner.
Is it Brynner?
We met Yul Brynner when I was a kid.
Did you say Night of the Living Dead? Is that what you said?
No, that was in the 60s.
No. I thought that's what your dad said. Yeah.
No, I said we met
Richard
Yul
Benjamin.
Brynner.
Richard Benjamin, James Brolin, Yul Brynner.
James Brolin? Is that Josh
The
Brolin's
King and
dad?
I? No, I don't know.
Wait, is it? Cujo.
Cowboy.
It was Cowboy? Did you say the movie's called Cowboy?
Cowboy. No.
Oh, there's a cowboy in it?
Science fiction western.
I know. Westworld.
Westworld.
I should have known that.
Apparently that's the first film to feature CGI.
I love that movie too.
I forgot that show was like a spinoff from the movie. That first season was wild. I didn't watch the second one, but
that was brutal. Where that guy comes back and he kills that same family over and over again. Oh man, that's wrenching there.
Wait, what?
You talk about the new Westworld series?
Oh yeah, I haven't. I only saw the first season.
Oh, it's sad. This guy, he goes back into Westworld just to kill this one girl and her family over and over again. And it's just the brutality over and over again. And you just know it's coming every time. It's very effective.
Yeah, that's such a... It's a well done concept, you know? Like,
so that's the show's the one that was on Max and they took it away, right?
I think it was HBO. Might have been
right. That's the one that was on Max and they took it away.
Yeah, Westworld with the big W on the front.
Yeah, HBO is Max.
Yeah, and it was
I started watching it and I was liking it, and then it literally left HBO.
But what?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not on.
I might have got like almost through like the first season and then it went away. No.
Oh, I'll have to check. That's weird. So, because I know that they made a second season, I watched maybe like 1 or 2 episodes because it seemed like it was starting to focus more on Thandie Newton's character, uh, the light skinned lady. Because in the first season they focused more on that one
Is that the
blonde
one
woman.
that? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, Thandie
Yeah,
Newton,
I
I
know
think,
what you're
is the
saying.
one that kind of runs the brothel. She seems to be, she's like the light skinned lady that kind of seems to be in charge of the bar brothel.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
the
because it was like,
saloon.
because the first season was focused on that blonde girl, and then uh the black guy with the glasses that was like one of their head operators or whatever, and then you find out that he's one of them.
Yeah, right.
It's like, geez.
So check this out. This is my Yul Brynner story. I was a kid, 70s, Gila River, New Mexico. We lived in Tyrone. We'd always go camping up at Bill Evans Lake or the Gila River. So we were up there camping one time, and my dad had a CB. He was into CBs and stuff. And we got a weather alert that there was going to be some flash flooding coming down. And we were camped by the river, so we moved up a little bit. And he goes, just a minute, let's go tell these guys down here camping that, there could be high water to let them move. So me and my dad will walk down there, and guess who it was? It was Yul Brynner and his family. Check this out. This is the crazy part of the story. Yul Brynner had a gash on his head, kind of like the one Liam had, except it was more over above his eye. He straightened the fish hook with fishing line. And he was sewing it back shut. He didn't want to go to the hospital because he didn't want anybody to know he was there with his family camping. So that's my Yul Brynner story. Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, I gotta look this guy up. Yul Brynner.
Yeah, the King and I and all that. He was a badass. But yeah, he didn't want anybody to know. My mom, Yul, Y-U-L.
This
Yul.
guy. Yeah.
He's a badass.
Wait a minute. Is he? Hold on. He looks just like. I might be sounding like an asshole just saying that he looks like this, but he looks like the fucking the Temple of Doom guy, Kalima, holding the heart or whatever. Who was that?
Apocalypto.
No,
movie Apocalypto.
no, the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh,
When the guy like reaches into their chest and he's like Kalima, and their heart's beating in front of them. But I think that was this Chatar Lal.
This shut the hell.
I don't know. You know what's crazy about that movie too, though, is this guy here. I'll show you guys. The dude who played Short Round, the little Asian kid that Indiana Jones befriends. This is what he
didn't he
looks like.
grow up to go to? No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
No, so this dude. So he was the Asian kid in the Goonies, and he was Short Round, and then he got out of acting for a while because he got really sick of all the typecasting and whatnot. And then his return to acting, like debut, was in this like multiple Oscar-winning movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he played like the husband of the main character.
Oh yeah. You're right.
And this is such a good movie.
Played Waymond.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you both have seen this movie, but if you haven't, you should. It's very, very good.
No, I just saw on the search that his name was Waymond in the movie.
Wayman. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a pretty interesting story, man. Like it just goes to show, there's small world. You never know who you're gonna run into.
It is a small world.
Yeah, I ran into a couple of celebrities in my day. Nothing too crazy. Like I met Forrest Whitaker at a club once. That was cool.
What kind of club was that?
One of the like a New York club. He was in one of like the VIP sections, and some people that I was with were at another table in there, and I was just like, "Holy shit, that's Forrest Whitaker!" And so I just like scooted my way over and I was like, "Hey, Forrest." I was like, "I don't want to bother you because I'm sure people do all the time, but I just wanted to say hi and I really like your movies." And he was like, "Thanks, man." I was like, "Cool, enjoy your night." And yeah, he
Yeah,
was
that's
really nice.
awesome.
Yeah, it was, but it was one of those things where I was like, I was fangirling a little, but I was also like, I don't think that's appropriate. Like, I feel like they get like he's just another person. Like, it's don't make it a bigger deal than
What?
it is. You can just shake hands and say I like what you do and move on. You know, like
Yeah, that's all. That's all you need. Just acknowledge his talent.
yeah, exactly. I mean, what the only
I
time
mean, he's
that
doing
bothers
it for
me,
you guys.
huh?
I say he's doing it for you guys. It's not like he's doing it for himself. He's got to entertain you to get paid.
Well, that's where like
Yeah.
I saw something posted about that recently. It was like Scarlett Johansson was talking about how like she doesn't like to take pictures with fans and blah blah blah. And some people are like, you know, oh, she draws a boundary and everybody gets mad, yada yada. And I don't know, I try to look at it objectively. So like I see both sides of it. I see the side where she's like, hey, I'm not at work right now. I'm not on set. I'm not at a promotional event. I'm not at a red carpet
Still a
premiere,
public figure.
whatever. Like I'm just out here having lunch with my family. I shouldn't necessarily be accosted. Flip side of that coin, don't go in the kitchen if you can't stand the heat, right? Like
Right.
I don't, like you know what you chose to do as a
I know
profession.
one thing, dude. I'd be.
Uh,
I know one thing. I'd be really bummed if I like met her and couldn't like take a picture with her.
that's what I'm saying. It's like I understand not wanting to be accosted, and I understand that there are just some fans that are rude and don't understand time and place. Like someone's sitting there having dinner with their family. Okay, they might be famous. Probably not the right time to go up and try and snag a selfie, right? That's obviously just people lacking social graces. Um, but you have to accept that that comes with it. That'd be like enlisting to be frontline military and then complaining that you're getting shot at. Like, what?
Well, I didn't even go one better than that. We went to our local wrestling match here, and they had the great Khali. Remember him?
Oh
Big
yeah,
fat
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Well, he was there signing autographs. He signed the autograph, and then he sold it for $20 to us. Jerk move. But I could see he was trying to make a little cash. He was a has been and all that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's hard to determine, right? Because it's like those same things when you see people that go to like estate sales or yard sales and like they find something that they know what it's worth and the other person clearly doesn't. And they're like, "Oh, I'll give you." And they're like, "I don't know, I'll take like 20 for it." And the person's like, "Okay," and then they turn around and sell it for like $600, and it's like, bro, you knew you were gonna do that. You couldn't have at least been like, dude, I know I can get a lot more than this.
Nevertheless,
I'm gonna give you at least 200 for it just so you get something. Like,
but then again, there's no guarantee that he's going to sell it on the other end.
yeah. But if he knows what it's worth and he knows that he could, and he knows that he's gonna resell it, then he knows that he's either underpaying for what it's worth and he can keep it, or he'll resell it for what he wants to get for it.
It's the value of something is only worth what someone's willing to pay, though.
Also true, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying there's
It's
certain
like
things that like you can either
I
hold on
understand
to.
what you're saying
Yeah,
is, but that's not capitalism. I mean, if I could get something cheap and resell it and make a few bucks, and the guy that's selling it makes a couple of bucks, that's a win-win. Everybody's happy. Now, if you go in and some old lady is sitting there with her family pearls, make me an offer. I don't know what they're worth, and then you screw her with a $2 offer. That's a different story. But if
yeah, but
they're selling it for something, and it depends on the situation too, I guess. Like
yeah.
a
I'm just
yard
saying
sale, you just get whatever you're going to get.
for sure. Yeah, I'm just saying there are definitely instances where people clearly don't know what they have and someone else
Right.
does and will lowball them knowing that they're going to make a killing later. And it's like you could have been less of a dick about it. Like obviously if they knew better, they probably would have asked for at least a little more so you could offer it. But, given that situation, like you said, who knows? I mean,
But that's like in my line, my eBay business stuff. I buy stuff cheap. I know it's more expensive, and then I resell it. And then I usually take the resale value and drop it down a little bit from what other people have been selling. So everybody gets a little piece of the pie. Everybody gets a taste. But I get the biggest taste because I'm doing the work. I'm going and finding the product. I'm posting it. I'm running down the leads. So therefore, yeah, I'm going to make the lion's share of the profit.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Because, everybody's in there to make a buck. I could sell a car for $1,000 that's worth $20,000, but if nobody's going to give me but $100 for it, then it's $100 car.
No, that's very true. That is definitely very, very true. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. There's like, like people will have like
I think
Scotty
it's
cameras.
intent behind it, behind the action. If you intend on going in and just looking for screwing somebody, that's one thing. But if you go in there just doing your normal day of business, and you happen to get a good deal, then I don't think it's no harm, no foul in that one.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely instances where you'll go to like a thrift store or whatever, and I mean, I've heard of people snagging like Scotty Cameron putters for like $50, $100 or whatever, because they'll get turned into like like somebody passed away and they go and collect mom or dad or granddad stuff or whatever, and then they're like, well, I don't golf, and they just drop them off there with everything else, and those places don't specialize in shit. It's not a secondhand golf equipment store, so they're just like, no, I don't know, fucking $30 for this, $50 for that, and you're gonna end up getting
And then you got
wild stuff.
the old secondhand stores and stuff like pawn shops and whatnot. They really screw you over.
Yeah, pawn shops can definitely.
Yeah,
Pawn
back in
shops
the
are
old
something
days,
else.
I used to go in. I used to get all my like guns, rifles, pistols at the pawn shops, bass guitars at the pawn shops. I mean, I'd never spend over $40 on anything I wanted. And those were the good old days.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, even still, a lot of like the YouTube gun channels and whatnot, a lot of those folks will still swear by going and picking stuff up from a pawn shop because I mean the savings that you can get from getting it through there, and then also they're basically like, dude, I don't. They're like, I don't really understand why a lot of people scoff at used guns because like unless the thing has been absolutely abused to
Right.
like no end, which is hard to do for most firearms. 9 times out of 10, you buy a used firearm, you're actually buying a better quality firearm because it's already like
Tried and true.
right, exactly. It's already been worked in. Like whatever metal filings or burrs or whatever else might be there, like that should already be worn down, ground out, whatever. Like basically whatever like pull and click, that should pretty much just be the same result every time at that point after you get like 1,000 or so rounds through it.
Yeah.
So that's what he was saying. They were like, dude, they're broken in. Like it's like it's like you get to just buy your favorite pair of jeans and they're already like comfortable for you. You don't have to break them in.
Right. Well, I purchased this M44 Molson Nagant Czechoslovakian rifle, and it was a used one, but it was packed in all the oil and stuff, so it was practically brand new.
Oh wow.
I cleaned it all off, got all the oil off. You pull out the bar, and it had the initials of every soldier that ever had the weapon on it. It's a pretty neat piece.
Oh shit.
$44 in the 80s.
That's awesome. The Mosin Nagant. Yeah, those were the
Molson Nagant, yeah. And it has the attached bayonet, the kind that's like a screwdriver on the end that you can disassemble the weapon and reassemble it and all. It's a neat piece.
I'm trying to remember, was that the Russian one?
Yeah. Got a big old skull cracker plate on the back of it.
Yep.
That thing's heavy too. Heavy duty. You've seen it.
Well, it's basically they just took a tree trunk and then cut a gun out of it or whatever.
Yeah, hand cannon. Arm cannon.
Yeah, these things. Yeah, they kind of almost look like the Carcano.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah, they look a lot like the Carcano rifle. A rimless. Oh.
Well, he was doing something and there it went.
Oh no! Oh, he's back. He's back.
Something's
I
using
can't
your
hear him.
audio though. Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
You can't hear me?
Now we
Oh,
can.
now we can. Yeah,
So this is what the Carcano looks like.
we can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
If you can see this, that's what the Carcano looks like. And then the Mosin,
1891.
the Mosin looks very similar. See. Before you say goodbye, at least share this here for you. So I know you were talking about you like to buy up some wares here and there and then resell them and whatnot. So if folks are looking for some random knickknacks or some odd finds and whatnot that you stumble across, they can head over to your eBay page. It's box full of dash 96.
What are we doing here?
So you can see that here. And yeah, anyway, so if you want to check out some of the stuff that he's got for sale that he's found through his, what is that, metal detecting and what did you call it? Mudlarking? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, if you want to check out that stuff, box full of dash 96 on eBay. And yeah, Pops, if you got anything else you want to throw at us, man, let's hear it.
You got anything else?
To me?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, but this ain't working too good though.
No. No, I guess we'll close it up.
Yeah, we'll have to have a part two where hopefully the storms won't be kicking you out.
Make it look good, I guess.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We've had some technical difficulties. There's some severe weather going on through there.
Yeah. We might even be getting the tail end of some of the stuff happening out there if it drifts down far enough up to northern
So let me know when
parts of
you're ready.
Texas. But we'll see. We will see. But hey, Pops, you stay safe in that weather, all right? Don't get blown away.
He said, "Stay safe. Don't get blown away."
Oh, I'm forgetting, dude. You're wearing headphones. Of course you can't hear me.
Stay safe up here. You guys be safe out there too, man. Hold down Texas. Hold down the West Coast. Miss y'all. Love everybody. Shout out to all my friends. Don't
Oh
forget,
yeah.
Pops, here for you.
Miss and love you too, man. And yeah, it's I'm forgetting that Eric's wearing headphones here, so Pops can't hear anything I'm saying. But anyway, thank you for coming on, Pops. We'll definitely have to get you on another time sometime soon. We'll hopefully have less of these difficulties going on and figure out some more stuff to chat about. I know there's plenty of other parts of your life that we didn't touch on, so we won't spoil that for everybody just yet, but we'll definitely get you back on so we don't have this many problems and can have a smoother interview process. But it'll be fun, and this is still fun. It's always I still love doing these even with the technical difficulties. I mean, something we're prepared for next time, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
Heck yeah. Well, I know you're not trying to say much because your voice is blown out. You gotta stop. You gotta stop
It's
yelling
rough.
in the night, man. Just stop with you got those night terrors. Just wait in the middle of the night, just blowing your voice out.
Yeah, probably.
Imagine that would be horrible. That would also be terrifying for like everyone else in the house.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, it was fun as always. And thank you, everybody who has tuned in. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, give us your thoughts and ideas, shoot us an email, all that jazz. And we look forward to seeing you the next time and seeing what kind of ideas you throw away, so it can just be that much more fun and interesting for you the next go around. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
See you next time.